already done the pledge of allegiance for the public hearing. So we will go right to the minutes. I need a motion to...
Move it.
Moved by Matt, second.
Second. Alright.
Molly and Tom, discussion. Any changes or corrections? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Our special guest, Jennifer, who represents Stewart's, can't make it tonight because of the weather. But I have scheduled a special meeting for the 27th, and they'll do a presentation at that.
Notice 6?
Yes. Okay, I'll open the floor to the public, if anybody'd like to address the board. Okay, department head reports, they've all been excused, with the exception of Jamie.
Highway department has been putting in a lot of long hours due to the recent storms that have occurred. Since the last board meeting, we've worked over 400 hours of overtime. We've had some equipment issues, but right now it seems like we have most things back in service. The excavator's coming along, just waiting for a few small parts to arrive. Hopefully that can be running again. And Lee Dunning has resigned as the mechanic as of January 1st and now receives his regular HEO pay. I've had meetings with Tom and the FEMA group about the Halloween storm. We've also been involved in conference calls as repair estimates will start being prepared for the next step.
We gotta go, what's our next meeting?
I think it's the 21st, I think. Cheyenne Moran is going to be retiring from the transfer station officially in mid-March. He'll be out of work until that date, as he'll be using up his time. James Cerencioni has been working with him for the past few months, learning the system. He'll be transferring from the highway department to take over Cheyenne's position. I see you have something.
Yeah, there's a resolution, it has to be done by the board.
Some people may have noticed that some gates have been starting to be put up near the compactor and soon to be around the C&D and metal containers. These are not town laws, these are mandated rules and regulations that we have to do to be in compliance. There'll also be a new fence around some of the perimeter in the spring. And that's pretty much it. I have a resolution that was too late for the agenda. We're doing that, and just the.
So the gate that Jamie, the highway crew made and put up, I think we got maybe $150 into it in materials. Tycon Road had like $6,000 into theirs. You could use it to hold back rhinoceros. But the gate only has to support 200 pounds, which just more than handles the 200 pounds. It's for the safety of the employees, and that's who was there as the Public Employee Safety Board, which is a division of Department of Labor. And we're also going to have to install gates at the compact station and also, or not the compact, but the C&D and also the metal. So, what else? Okay, the transfer station. We had Becky run the numbers on the transfer station, and we've got a couple different resolutions here in regards to replacing Cheyenne and also advertising for a part-time position. Jamie and I discussed a full-time position. Could we use another full-timer up there? Absolutely, but I told Jamie, let's see how it runs for a while. There's other options, even if you went to a 4-day week versus 5-day week. Because last year we ran $17,000 in the red up there on garbage. C&D holds its own. C&D pays for itself, but garbage we're running in the red. We went down to Ticonderoga, we watched their operation. Every bag that goes in there, they have a platform scale, it's weighed. And I think we really need to change the way we're doing business up there, because there's a lot of it getting through the system that the taxpayers ultimately are ending up paying for. Right. Because when you run in the red, that's why we have a fee system, so everybody pays for what they produce for garbage. So we got to get a handle on it over there.
Especially if anybody from any place in the county can bring their stuff here, and then the taxpayers of the town of Moriah are footing that.
But, and I know that's a busy transfer station, but, and the people can be impatient. But if you got to wait an extra 3-4 minutes while they weigh it, then that may be what it's coming to. So because we can't continue as a town board to let that place
I'm
run.
all for it, we've been talking about it for
Yeah.
years, I'm all for it. Where would we get the scales from, the county? Would we buy
Where
them?
did you can buy platform scales.
Yeah, it's
So we
platform
looked at it
scale
before.
and then it has a digital board
Yeah.
and they weigh and they log. If you have more garbage than what it can handle on the platform, they throw, after they weigh that on there, they write it down and they
Yeah,
reweigh.
you write a check, or you can pay, they round it off on a sticker, they have stickers, you can write a check, they do not pay cash, and they're getting set up where you can use a bank card, your debit card or whatever, so I don't know how much would be involved to do that up
I
there.
know they can pre-buy
You know.
their punch cards.
I can get like a $20.
I'm not saying we're going to that yet, I wanna give it a little more time to see how, because I can tell you, Jimmy, not that our other operator didn't do a good job up there either, but we all need to pay more attention to what's going across, what's going into that contractor, so.
Just one thing, Jamie, I've heard nothing but good things for the cleanup from that storm.
I'm glad you have.
I called Tommy, and he goes, "Are you serious?" I said, "I swear to God." I said, "Not only from people in the town, but people coming through. My relatives came up from Ty. They said, I can't believe how good the town looks compared to like Crown Point and Ty. It's even on my street. That was the first time ever
Yeah.
that soon my street got done with the snow blower or whatever came up through there that day. I mean,
All right, I'm glad you brought it up, because I want to talk about this for a minute, because I've got a lot of comments. Not a lot, but some comments, I know Jamie has. Moriah is like no other town in the Adirondacks. There's not another town that can compare to Moriah. You've got 5, actually 6 population centers when you bring Grover Hills into the mix, where you've got a number of homes and people living in these different hamlets. So you cannot possibly hit every hamlet and get them all cleaned up within 2 days after a storm. It can't be done. In fact, Jamie had the county come down and help him, which was a good move, because we had so much snow, you were expecting more snow. So we do the best we can do with the resources that we have. If you want this town board to raise your highway tax, we'll go out and buy 2 more tandems, another front end loader, the equipment that you need, and hire a couple more employees to do it. But right now, I think with what you had to handle, you did an excellent job.
Yeah, I
Absolutely,
can't pick up snow in every hamlet and still try
Now-
to get the ice out the roads.
Now
here
I want to talk about sidewalks, okay? And I knew this was going to happen when the village dissolved. Part of the dissolution plan, which Matt was a part of, it was made public, it wasn't nothing done in the back room. We had agreed in that dissolution plan, the town board, to take care of Broad Street and the main street in Port Henry for sidewalks. That's what we agreed to do, because those were the main drags, and that was all part of the dissolution plan. We do Moriah to Moriah Center, we try to do the Plank Road, okay? We never did those roads before. So people are saying, well, you're getting Port Henry done first. Again, we've got one machine that can do all these roads. I had somebody complaining because you're putting the inmates out there. Well, you know what? Would you rather we not have them cleaned? We won't put
Why are
somebody.
they complaining? I don't understand the complaint.
I'm grateful they're there
Exactly.
myself.
Oh, because this individual, I'm not gonna get into names, is just, it's the old Mineville Port Henry war, okay? It's an older individual who was upset because I don't even think he ever walked on a sidewalk, but anyway, he was obviously upset about it because, well, how come Port Henry's getting done? Well, Port Henry doesn't get done because I live in Port Henry, and all you need to do is look at me and know that I don't walk sidewalks anyway. They don't get done because Jamie lives in Port Henry. He tries to prioritize the areas. Then I hear about 9N and 22, which the public probably doesn't realize. He can't put a machine on 9N and 22 until he gets authorization from New York State. We have a contract. He has to get their permission, or they actually have to call him and say, okay, you have our permission to clean it. So, every time he puts that equipment up there to clear the parking spots up in the village of Port Henry, the old village, along the business district, that's a contract that we have with the state of New York that we get reimbursed for. But he can't go in there, right, Jamie, until he has their
To be
authorization.
honest with you,
You can't-
a lot of the times that we're
you-
cleaning
you
it,
gotta go in there
they're
and
not
do-
even telling you to.
No, I
They're
know.
actually doing it for a service to the public.
So the town of Jay, any community, Crown Point that is on a state highway goes through this same song and dance with the state of New York. And then it's the highway superintendents in these towns that take all the heat over. You know, how come you haven't cleaned it? Well, you know, first of all, it's not our road.
So every
Okay.
time there's a storm, excuse me, every
Yeah.
time there's a storm, that poor guy has to get the okay first?
Absolutely, yeah.
And all the little storms, because they don't want you going out there and cleaning it if there's 3 inches of snow. They don't care.
No,
We do it because we know that the people in our township has to park there to get to the pharmacy or go to the bank or go to Stewart's or go to the
See, I just-
ARC or.
If he doesn't get the approval or okay, when he goes to submit that, they can say, we didn't okay, we're not
We're
paying
not
you.
paying you for
And
it.
I-
Well, I just thought they were under contract, so when you had a storm, you cleaned it. I didn't realize it was every
No.
storm, he has to get an
I
okay,
mean,
that's
we got a
ridiculous.
funeral, right? I mean, there's a
if there's a wake or a
wake, you
funeral
know,
or,
they're
you
not,
know, for Harley.
they don't, that it's clean.
And I can
Their
tell you
road is
that-
open, it's bare, they're.
I don't know why when they come down through there, they don't put that wing out.
And I live on the state highway, I've lived there all my life, and I can tell you that state truck doesn't go by as frequently as it used to. So I think they've cut back on a lot of
Throw the
their
wing out,
time and
blow
maintenance
it up on the
also.
sidewalk.
Okay, enough on highways, unless anybody else has anything they want to bring up
No.
on highways, all right.
Oh, Tom,
Yeah,
I got water, building and grounds, and code enforcement.
okay, go ahead.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. So water department, had 7 mainline, water breaks. On 5 of them, we used the vacuum machines. And, we were able to use the vacuum. That came in extremely handy. We had 5 sewer plugs in the month of February, which we took care of. And again, in building and grounds, after this snowstorm, 200, I think he said approximately 283 fire hydrants are shovel ready to go for all the fire protection. Building codes were, Richard issued 2 permits for the month of December and responded to 1 complaint. And on building and grounds, Eddie's with all the plowing, and the John's truck today had to go up to the county, part of the gas tank or something. Are you aware of that, Tommy?
He mentions not all the gauge doesn't work.
Something where the county picked it up and something to do with the gas tank or
gauge
something, or
is-
gauge or
we
something.
require odometer readings daily. So I was going through them last week and I noticed John's was going backwards. So I figured he was driving around in reverse. But anyway, it was a mess. So I told Ed, I said, take your truck, take John's truck, go out, clock the mileage and see what you can, and anyway, there was an issue with the odometer. So there was something that I guess they replaced, not in the gas tank, but on the odometer. I don't know if it's on the transmission, whatever. But anyway, had to be repaired because as you guys know, in the last operator told you every vehicle's gotta have this in it with a reading daily.
So, they've been also very busy, thanks.
So. Matthew?
Police department, handled 135 calls for service, no felonies, no misdemeanors, 11 traffic tickets, handled 9 traffic accidents, 16 pistol permit background, and 6 background investigations for employment purposes.
Any questions on police?
No.
Thomas?
Here, that's yours.
Oh,
I've got a few things. First, I've got, well, the animal control officer, 18 complaints since last meeting. Okay? And,
so long.
yeah. You want me to do my stuff now too? Are we
Yeah,
going back to that?
no, go ahead.
Okay.
'Cause I wanna talk about the youth commission.
Yeah, youth commission, there's been a lot going on. So So we had a meeting with Mike Mascarenas and some other people.
Did you see his letter, Tom?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I've got it right in front of me.
Yeah.
That's one on my phone. So what we're doing, we're in the process of formalizing the process and procedures of the youth sporting activities because we've been doing it kind of informally. Julie Anderson's been running all 3 seasons for years, and then some other people came in and want to start kids younger. And instead of going through us, they called Tom, and so we're gonna formalize the process where they are gonna come through us. And in the process, we're appointing Julie Anderson to the Youth Commission. And she's not been, we have a vacancy because Beth Trombley got off,
Okay.
but that'll be,
Is that the only vacancy?
that's, well, I was gonna ask you, I think it's the only vacancy. I don't know the exact
roles, I think
number.
we did look.
It's only one vacancy, right?
I
There's
believe so.
five.
I
yeah.
think you're right, yeah.
Yeah.
So we will need a resolution later
We'll need-
on.
yeah, we'll do that at the end. So, I mean, Tom, you may wanna talk about it, cause you were involved.
Well, I had a call from Dr. Salati who wanted to start I think that program's already come and gone. The only reason they call me is because they need to be insured.
Right.
Okay? So all I do is I call our insurance company, we have an umbrella, but they still need, I mean, as you know now, you gotta tighten them up because you're coaching and so on. You gotta do background checks on these people. You
Right.
can't just let somebody go out there and run programs.
Right,
to,
and the
you
background
know,
checks
so
go through
there's-
the Department of Health, and that's,
So, I agree with you, we do need to tighten it up, we're not trying to discourage these programs, I think they're
no,
good
and
for
it's,
the kids.
it's public
but-
program, it's open to everybody.
Yeah, but
It's
we, the
public.
town of Moriah, the town board, I mean, we are technically the sponsors, because they fall under, and if, God forbid, if something were to happen, you know, we didn't do our due diligence, then,
Right,
then the outcome could be bad, so.
so it's,
Well, I'm glad to hear that, good, that
we're
you're.
formalizing the
Yeah.
process, we're gonna have procedures. So if you guys get questions about it,
I think.
Send it to me.
Yeah. I think the other thing,
Youth
Tom,
Commission
is
will
when
take care of it.
somebody wants a program, first stop should be with the youth commission.
right,
But then this board also needs to approve that program.
right,
They should go, that should be a two-step process. You go to the youth commission, then you bring it to this board.
Right.
For the final. So who's ringing?
I'm sorry, I got it on mute.
Just hit the side button.
all right, so that's where we stand.
Okay, good.
And I'll come back to you
So you're
guys
gonna have
with
a
more.
policy and
We're
everything
gonna have a
in
policy
place,
pay
huh?
on paper and I'll let everybody know, that'll be our next youth meeting. So, let me see my list. I'm gonna appoint Julie Anderson, and, next month I'll have names for employee for summer program. And last meeting, we were discussing the school. This summer will be okay in the school,
2021 will be the.
next summer's gonna be the
Right,
challenge,
yeah.
because they're doing a lot of work.
We've run it out of both seats in the
Right,
past.
so we're gonna, so this summer, but we had the question last meeting.
Yeah,
Right.
So this summer will be set, already talked to Mr. Laro, next summer will be,
okay.
you know, we have to, most likely, we'll try and move to BOCES.
Okay, very good, and I am very pleased to hear that that's all gonna get tightened
Yeah.
up, because it's,
It's been a little too loose.
yeah.
Which
Okay,
I'll take.
Holly, do you have anything you wanted to
responsibility
bring up other than your reports?
No, yeah, for a minute. So Eddie Roberts on Building and Grounds over the weekend, we have a monitor heater in the museum that's an extremely old monitor. They're out of business. Doug Spalding rebuilt it like 4 or 5 years ago. He spent several hours on it this weekend and I assisted him. We couldn't get it up and going. I highly recommend that the board approves exactly one of these monitors, which is a lot more efficient. They're roughly probably about $1,800, and I would volunteer with the board's permission to install it with Eddie, if it would be okay as a volunteer, to save the taxpayers a lot of money.
It's kerosene, right?
LP gas, the new monitor.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know the
Is this
protocol
wait
on that.
until, I thought you told me this could wait till spring.
And we can't, Tom,
All right.
it can wait till spring.
And you're
That can-
volunteering, everybody make sure you get that in a minute, Charles, because he cannot, you can't know more than I can work.
No, and I understand that. I'm
Yeah.
glad to
Down
volunteer.
3 furnaces.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm down 3.
Can you go up to the water plant? too?
Well,
We got some other-
and secondly, we have three, and secondly, up to the highway department, we have 3 of the Modine, 145,000 BTUs that are down, and, just through discussion, Jamie, well, we don't know where we're gonna stand next year. We're gonna probably be at the same highway department this coming fall, Tommy,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
where I recommend that we get at least one of them up and replaced.
I think we better look at some other things before we.
Other options,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, okay, no, that's fine.
Modines
Just so we
aren't
have to
there.
make,
They're right tagged, the chambers are cracked in them.
Yeah.
They're just, I don't know, they're old.
Yeah.
they have a heat exchanger in here and they go. But
Okay.
if we choose to use the same ones, they will definitely be maintained correctly on a yearly basis. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, Matt? Okay. All right. Moving to my, I think we got a lot of resolutions to get through. Okay, so we opened bids for Tarbo Hill Pump Station. I scheduled a special meeting for the 27th. At that point, we'll award the bids, but the bids came in, at least one within budget. The MCJ Contract Construction out of Mayfield, New York was the low bidder, $298,500. CFI Contracting out of Johnstown, New York came in at $430,000. Real Construction came in at $380,700. Then there was an alternate bid too for the, for a data system and so on up there, but we may choose not to do that. It was $30,000 additional on MCJ's on their bid. So anyway, we'll award it at our next meeting. Engineers reviewing everything, make sure everything's proper to do. Stewart's was supposed to be here this evening. I did receive a set of plans for the town board's perusal and building code officer. As the town board is aware, there's no zoning, never has been zoning here in the village of Port Henry. The village did have a site review law, I believe, which is not zoning. So, I mean, the bottom line is pretty much wherever they want to place that store, they can place it. And we can't stop them from placing it where they want to put it. But I have seen the plans. It's, I think it's a good location. You're gonna have a good view of the mansion from either way. They're taking that into consideration. They're doing brickwork on the front of the building and on the columns and so on. But they will also be here on the 30th, or on the 27th to do their presentation to the board.
It's 27th of February?
Yes, yeah. I had let me see, I don't know if I have that in the resolutions or not. Chamber of Commerce permission to use the Village Beach parking area for August 1st to be used for Champ Day. Also requesting cones, barriers, trash cans, and picnic tables on August 31st. Thank you for working with us, from Catherine Sprague.
I don't think it's on there.
No, but
Well, I
Eddie's
think-
definitely
I put
aware
it
of
here.
it. We
Well,
had
let's have a little
it
discussion
before.
on that, because wasn't there some issues there last year with the campers and so on, the parking and?
That, I don't recall any last year. I know the first year, when the village was still
Right,
intact, that the first year they moved it down there were some issues.
right.
And then the following year, they had people parking over at the boat launch.
Which
And
is
then-
where they should be,
Yeah, but
yeah.
then that created issues because you had, I think there was a fishing tournament that same
Right.
weekend. And all the fishing boats and trucks were there and there wasn't really any place for people to park. I mean,
So do you wanna work on a designated area up where they used to have their barbecue?
Well, I don't, I mean, in my opinion, Moriah Bay campsite is twice the better location to have that. You got plenty of parking, you got the
You got the
pavilion,
pavilion,
I
you
mean,
can
everything's
set-
there. I don't know why you
I mean,
know,
like the beach for the boat races,
Race.
we don't want.
the cardboard boat
We have
races.
beach race.
We have beach, we have a beach.
The brook, the
Yeah, they use the
Oh,
brook.
all right.
Yeah,
All right, who's who's my liaison?
I
Can you
told
get
you.
more information on it? And,
I doubt they're gonna wanna,
well, I mean, I just wanna coordinate it, make sure there's not a fishing
Eddie knows
tournament that
about
day
it.
or,
Yeah.
so.
Well,
last year, did they have it in that back corner?
Yeah, last year the booths were in a different, so as you came in, they were in the back
yeah,
right.
I don't recall there being any issue
I don't
last year.
think there were any issues last year, I was down there, but
Okay, well, it's good, I just wanna make sure that there's not. All right, transfer station, I already talked about, we ran, last year, 17,559 in the red. Now, a big part of that, 8,800 of it were other employees that we had to use over there for when the scheduled employees weren't there. So,
So you're talking more than half, talking,
$8,800 worth was, for fill-ins, so.
so well, I'm sure, can she, come up with a rough estimate of, by going to $3 a bag, but does that close that gap?
I've got all the revenues right here, we're at $3 a bag.
That's what I'm saying, but last year we weren't.
Let me tell you, when you go back through the revenues, and I've done this at that transfer station numerous times, where we shot ourselves in the foot is when we went from 250 to 3.
cut out
Our revenue,
customers.
absolutely, I think we drove people right to
Ace
Ace
and
and Casella, and they're starting to come back somewhat now. So, I'm gonna take a closer look at this as soon as I get some time, but Jamie and I have discussed some other options that we might be able to do up there.
The scales are definitely somewhere
Yeah.
to look at.
Ticonderoga, how many full-time people?
They got
Three?
3 full-time people and do a third of a.
They don't even, yeah, they do a third of the time as we do.
It's a third.
Yep. So,
We're running with 1 right now.
Tom,
yeah,
just how much are we getting from, because other people can use our transfer station, how much of that is coming from other outside towns?
oh, that, I can't track that, I don't have a clue,
Oh, just a question.
yeah. no,
I know my brother comes up and uses it, so.
Yeah,
Lot of people from
Westport,
Ticonderoga.
see, it's a county-wide system, that's
Exactly.
why they, actually, I heard people from Vermont come over and use it. But they're buying their stickers and they're
I was just
paying, you
gonna
know, the whole key is, and Cheyenne was doing it, is the bags, you know, and, you know, some people can, you know, they put, 50 pounds in a 30-gallon bag, and that's where you, because if the average bag should weigh around 30 pounds, and once you get over that, that's why we put the stop to, we charge 2 stickers for the big contractor bags, and people got upset over that. So people are gonna get upset, I understand that, but we can't allow that place as a town board to continue to operate in red. So we gotta get a handle on that.
I agree.
Okay, Polly brought to my attention the historic signs. Mel Hyatt questioned him about one that used to be in front of Max, actually. And there was one there. So Polly, since you're on this project, you can get together with Betty. Betty did give me this information. It's got a listing of every historic marker that was in the town of Moriah. Now, the state of New York used to provide these markers for municipalities, and they did away with that years ago. So if the town wants to get on a program and start replacing these markers, and there's a lot of them that need to be either replaced or repaired, a lot of them missing in town, as you'll see when you go through this, I would suggest that we do maybe, they're like around $1,200 a piece. So even if you did 1 a year, or, or 2 a year, but anyway, we can
Yeah.
talk about that at budget time.
The state stopped doing
They
it.
stopped doing it, yeah. Yeah, now you have to buy them. Because they're cast, I mean, I'm sure there's other options, it doesn't have to, I mean, you could probably get the sign shop to make something that looks pretty similar with the same type of, it's not gonna be cast.
Such a one over here, these are nice, these casts.
That
Those are nice signs.
that was a grant through the Pomeroy Foundation, I think, and that was expensive. So here you go, Holly. Okay, the waterfront committee, we have a resignation from Mark Davenport due to family reasons, and he served on the committee for, I think, since its beginning. Unfortunately, Mark's gonna have to step down, so I'm not sure if there's anybody out there interested in a seat at this time, but if there is, I'll leave that up to the waterfront committee. You can come back and make a recommendation to the board. So, but I do wanna, I think we should formally thank Mark for his service. Okay, I'll move into resolutions. Rose, if I forget anything, let me know.
Okay.
Okay, resolution number 1 is to transfer James Cicerone Sr. from the Highway Department to the transfer station as transfer station operator, effective March 21st, 2020, due to the retirement of Cheyenne Moran. This is a 40-hour work week at $20.89 per hour.
Move it.
Moved by Paul Salerno, second by Tom Anderson. Discussion. Being none, I have talked to Cheyenne, and Jamie's talked to Cheyenne, to Jimmy, and he wants it. From what I can see, he's doing a good job.
Excellent job.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Resolution number 2 is authorization for the supervisor to advertise for a temporary part-time transfer station attendant at 28 hours per week, $14.80 per hour. This position carries no benefits, no health insurance, other benefits as per the union agreement, such as a clothing allowance and the boots and so on.
Move it.
Second.
Okay, well, we'll work up an ad, and I'll get I actually have which will probably be the ad, is the civil service classification. And Rose, when would that get into the paper by,
If I have it by 3 on Monday, it can go in for Saturday.
okay, so we'll probably run it for a week. And I'll have myself, Jamie, and you will do interviews. If the board, unless you guys want to sit in on it, but everybody can't sit in on it because it's an open meeting, obviously, so. Does anybody want to volunteer for the interviews, or if not, I can do it with the highway superintendent.
I'd do it.
You
No
want to do
problem.
it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll have Paul
Yes.
and Jamie do it. So I'll get the applications, and then I'll have you two guys, we'll get the interview scheduled, we'll go through them first. And then have a recommendation for the March meeting. Capiche?
Sounds
Yes.
good.
Conduct
Okay.
interviews at town.
Yeah, right in the boardroom. Okay. Did we vote on that, Rose?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Okay, resolution number 3 is the contract with Hudson Headwaters Healthcare Network for health officer services at $775 per calendar year.
Move it.
Second.
Okay, the reason we do this at the organizational, but they did request an increase. We were giving them $745 per year. We're going to $775 per year because your health officer is paid according to the population of your community. You can pay more than that, but we've always paid based on the population. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Resolution number 4 is to award the contract for water and sewer main replacement for Ridge Oak, College Street area to Manford Construction. Manford Construction's bid was $515,111. Their alternate was $8,500. Rio Construction was $562,700 with their alternate at $11,900. And Luck Brothers $614,540 with their alternate at $21,150.
Move it.
Second.
Okay, the alternates wear laterals if we have to get in there and replace laterals. Hopefully.
So you're not
we won't.
gonna, that doesn't,
No.
that
no.
CEB grant doesn't require you to
Only
do
if-
laterals?
No, only if we find that it's a lead line on water or if it's a broken clay tile on sewer.
Really?
Yeah.
The one on Rice Lane, we had to do, we had to go around, and if people didn't want it, then we had to get a note signed and everything by them.
Well, if we run into somebody, they still have to meet all those income requirements. They're gonna have to do a sheet and everything else, because that's private property. I've been down this road, I know, we did it on Wasson Street, we've done it in different areas.
It's part of that project on Rice Lane, we.
Part of this money is
had to
for
do it.
that, but the people have to be income eligible and qualified for that, because now you've left the main line and you're going on the private line, where actually it's their responsibility to have that
So you're
in
telling me
place.
is I'm not getting a new lateral?
Pardon?
No new laterals for
You're
me?
gonna have to cancel one of your Bon Voyage
I'm gonna have to stay at,
trips.
Hey,
I'll just stay at the casino
Tom,
one day.
Tom,
Yeah.
what determines, one more time, I'm sorry, what determines to make it eligible to have a lateral put in?
If you
What type
have
of plumbing's going?
clay tile, for
Oh.
instance, on your sewer.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's cracked and broke and plugged, or if you
Yeah.
have especially an old lead water line, those types of things, okay?
Are you specifically saying lead or galvanized or I'm just curious.
If you've got a line that needs to be replaced.
Yeah, okay, that's
yeah,
it.
I mean,
Okay,
that's
I got
just- So the contractor makes that determination, but that money, Matt, is if they're qualified, it will come out of this grant. If they're not qualified, it doesn't come out of the grant. They can leave it as it is, you know?
So their $8,500 alternate bid is just a shot in
Well, not only
the,
did
shot in
you,
the dark then?
not only
They
did you
don't
do that
know.
on Rice Street though, you put in meters and,
Same with Linda
Hey,
Street,
yeah,
we
no,
put
right,
everything in.
yeah.
But that was part of the grant, they made us put
No,
them. I'm surprised they don't make us do it with this.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Okay, resolution number 5, let me see here. Okay, first I'll read this. Resolution number 5, in accordance with local law number 1 of 2019, Hamlet Development Review Law, section 3.2, 2B, as the town board can grant a waiver for the Stewart's project.
Move it.
Second.
Okay, I'll read the letter. Dear Supervisor, Sconset Town Board, Stewart's respectfully request a waiver from section 3.2B of local law number 1, enclosed are copies of our plans for your review. I will attend the February 13th town board meeting, but due to weather, obviously, they're not here. We're hopeful the town and its residents will see this as a beautiful and beneficial investment that we are making in the town of Moriah. If you have any questions, please contact me, Jennifer Howard, property manager. So section, let me just find it. Just so you're aware of what it says, you should, okay. The town board may waive any submission of requirements set forth in section 3.2 above if it finds that certain submission requirements or standards this section are not a requisite for the interest in the public health, safety, or general welfare as applied to a particular project or application. Waivers shall be explicitly requested by the applicant in writing, which they have done, and expressly granted by only the town board. In granting waivers, the town board may, in its sole discretion, incorporate such reasonable conditions as will, in its judgment, substantially secure the objectives of the requirements so waived. I can tell you that Stewart's, I've been involved in a lot of projects, they have submitted anything and everything that you could possibly ask for and things that you wouldn't ask for. I mean, they're thorough, very thorough. I mean, this isn't their first rodeo, obviously. So, any questions on this?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Okay, resolution number 6, authorization for the supervisor to sign an agreement for streetlight conversion with National Grid to convert 655 streetlights. It's gonna cost the town of Moriah upfront $30,156, and then we're gonna be reimbursed back $33,190 at the completion of the projects, which they're estimating to take about 2 months. Our estimated annual savings will be around $7,500. That's based on the kilowatt. Today, obviously, that rate goes up and down, like our
Still
own
saving
power
money,
does.
yeah.
So, and it's a better light, and your lights, I bet you right now, there's probably 100 street lights out in this town,
At least.
if not more. So,
Move it.
moved by Mr.
Second.
Salerno, second by Tom. Matt, Any discussion?
Even, I mean, even if you weren't getting any money back, I mean, that's a return on your investment in what, 5 years?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a no-brainer.
I'm just curious how long the whole project will take.
2 months.
2 months, okay,
They-
60 days.
National Grid, they hire outside contractors to come in and do this. They don't do it with their own forces. But he told us, right around 2 months.
So the upfront money will not be held
Unbelievable, I see
that
it.
long.
Pardon?
Our upfront money of 30,000 is only 60 days, 75 days to get back 33,000. That's a,
Oh, I mean, that's.
No-brainer.
Exactly. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Resolution number 7, authorization for the supervisor to contract with William Tansey Esquire as attorney for the town of Moriah at $175 per hour for the year 2020.
Move it.
Second.
Okay, under discussion, we did have John Silvestri. I did contact him. I haven't heard back from him. I think he's down south now. Bill Tansey is actually located right in Elizabethtown. I think he lives in Keene. In fact, I think he married a local woman.
he lives in Keene
Yeah,
Valley,
so
work his shop.
He's a good attorney, and believe me, we don't use an attorney that often, but if we need, and that $175 an hour includes court costs, where before we were paying over $300 an hour for court costs, so.
Excellent.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Resolution number 8. We've done this about 3 times now, but the retirement system said we still don't have it right. So number 8, Town of Moriah to enroll in section 384 for our Town of Moriah police officers for the retirement system.
Move it.
Second.
Discussion. Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Resolution number 9, the Town of Moriah to enroll in 384F for the Town of Moriah police officers for the retirement system.
Move it.
Second.
Discussion.
What's the difference?
You can't get into that's what I asked, you can't get into 384F until you're in the 384.
Well, that's cool.
That's, yeah.
So they're joining one, getting out of it and going to the
No,
other?
you can't get in
You gotta be in
last one we did was
both. Gotta be in both.
384F. We were in 384D, but apparently that doesn't count for anything. So they said you gotta get in 384 before you get in 384F.
Okay.
So, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, resolution number 10, reappoint Sharon O'Connor to the Board of Assessment Review from 9/30/19 through 9/30/24.
Move it.
Second.
We might want to have some discussion on this one. Oh, jeez.
Good luck.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
That's a
Thanks,
long-
Sharon, for serving.
That's a long
Really.
commitment.
Okay, resolution number 11, authorization for youth basketball first grade for 6 weeks on Sundays at Moriah Central School. Coach will be Erica Slattery, Adam Slattery, James Baker, and CPR certified AED Lindsay Java.
Move it.
Second.
Okay, Tom, are you familiar with this one?
Yes, like, I know all those names, did those names go through the,
I have them right here. That's why I brought them with me, and I'm gonna let you, who do you go through, Department of Health?
we give them to Becky, and Becky goes to the Department of
All
Health,
right,
yeah.
well, we don't, not for the kids, we need just
No,
for on the coaches.
for the coaches.
correct? Okay, I got it right here. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Resolution number 12, congratulations to Cheyenne Moran on his retirement.
Move it.
Second.
On the discussion, Cheyenne had, he had 30 years, right, Jamie? Yeah, he's been around, him and I go back a long time. He worked for the water department for a while, then came back. I think I hired him back in the water, so then he was our water plant operator. And then transferred over to the transfer station. So I want to wish him the very best on his retirement.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Unanimous second?
Yes.
Resolution number 14. I'm sorry, 13, to accept the resignation of Councilman Carpenter effective February 21st, 2020.
Move it.
Second.
Discussion. Being none, all in favor?
Yeah.
All is carried. Resolution number 14, resolution of appreciation of Lucy Carpenter's years of service to the town of Moriah.
Move it.
Second.
Just under discussion, Lucy is with her daughter and her new grandbabies, and that's why she's decided to step down. They live in Ohio, and she just, to her credit, she knows she's not gonna be able to make the meetings here any longer, and, you know, she could have stayed here. As long as they have a home here, they're an elected official, you cannot force them off the board. They had a town clerk in Ticonderoga one time they didn't see for 2 years. So, to her credit, I'm glad that she did, you know, make that choice for the betterment of the community. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All is carried. While we're on that subject, now she is, I've got all the legal documents that I needed to get, did some research. I've been on this town board, I've had other positions that opened up and resignations over the last 30 years, and when the board decides to fill the seat, whomever we fill the seat with has to run this year. It's not for the unexpired term. Her term doesn't expire until December of 2021.
Right.
So if you're appointed, you have to run this year, okay? And then you have to run again next year. So whomever we appoint, and I do know that Nathan Gilbel has expressed an interest to myself, and I think the town board also, he ran for the position, I believe, in November. So if we decide to appoint, nobody's getting a free ride here, so they have to run for the position. Any discussion on any of this?
No.
Okay.
All right, well, I'm sorry, there's discussion. So if he runs, it's a one, he runs for.
You run for the remainder of this year.
So basically he's running for a 1-year term.
Right.
So,
So would that be, basically anybody could run for that 1-year term?
Yeah, does that open up to competition, to the public then?
he would run this year, and then he would have to run again next year.
For the full 4-year term?
Or full-
Yeah, he can't, no, if we appoint, okay, anybody can run next year, not this year.
Then why does he have to run
We
it?
would appoint, because he has to run for the rest of her term.
So nobody can challenge him for that rest of her term?
That's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah, they can.
That's what we're asking.
That's what they're
Yeah.
asking you, Tommy.
Oh, you mean right now?
Yeah, so he could be,
Oh,
no.
we're
No.
appointing him
Yeah.
in November on election day.
And so this summer he goes through the signature process.
Right.
Anybody else could go through the same signature process.
'Cause
We
that
would have to
seats-
make it public that there's a 1-year seat.
They're
Yes,
asking you.
yes,
Right.
I follow what you're
Right.
saying, yes.
That he can finish, he can.
So November
So if somebody decides to
He can
do a
fulfill the
petition
seat
next
now,
month to run for that
and November he
seat,
has to run
yeah.
again, and then he has to
November
run again
2000.
for 5 years.
Right, is that right?
November 2020,
Yeah,
thank you. November 2020
So
He can run.
1-year seat,
till November
2021.
2021. Right. When he has to run again.
And that would be for a 4-year seat.
Right.
Correct.
He could be challenging both of those.
Right.
Obviously,
Correct.
the second one, yeah, okay.
wherever vacancy shall occur in the town office, the town board majority members there may appoint a qualified person to fill the vacancy. If the appointment made to fill the vacancy in the appointed office, the person so appointed shall hold the office for the remainder of the unexpired term, but that's not for councilman, I know it isn't. If the appointment is made to fill a vacancy, the person appointed shall hold the office until the commencement of the calendar year next succeeding the first annual election at which the vacancy may be filled.
Okay.
So do we have to do anything as a board to put that out there, that there's a 1-year
No,
seat?
that's not our,
That's not our.
I'm doing that right now.
Yeah,
Right, besides
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah,
When you appoint somebody,
yeah,
if it, well, I follow the town law too. You can appoint them until,
Election day, basically.
no, if, like in November, because you're appointing him
correct.
in February of the year. He can sit in that until the elections come in
That's
November.
right.
He must
She's
run
right, and then next year you
to
have to
fulfill
run
the
again.
1-year term
Right,
that's
what
left.
I'm saying.
Correct.
And then in 2021, if he's interested again, then he'll,
Yeah, absolutely.
Put himself in the-
He has to
the
run
hat
this
of
year
that.
and then again next year. But if the question is, can somebody else run again this year? Yeah.
in 2020, yes.
Absolutely they can. in
Okay.
2020, but they'd have to run again also in 2021.
All right,
Because
absolutely,
they'd be
yeah.
running for the unexpired.
And in 2021, whomever runs will be running for 2 seats.
No, do we?
No, no,
Huh?
Yeah, because,
Now.
yeah, that's,
We can't,
That's mine.
what's
that's
that?
you, yeah,
What?
yeah.
And next year, everything that you just explained, when it happens in 2021, whomever chooses to run, they will be running for 2 positions of
Correct.
town councilman
Yes.
or woman.
My
Because there's
my
2 seats
seat
up
and
there.
Right, good
whoever,
point, yeah.
On this seat.
Yeah.
oh, there is.
So,
It'll
yeah,
rotate
good
through.
point.
yeah, there's somebody up every 2 years.
Who's up, you and Lucy?
Well, it'd be me and
Right.
whoever,
This seat, this seat.
Oh, I got you.
whoever,
Okay.
me and whoever wins
Right.
in November.
Okay.
Oh,
I thought we were slid over now.
No, this is my spot.
okay.
Okay, well, so we don't have
Everybody clear on
to,
that?
we don't have to advertise that there's an opening.
It's up to the town board if you wanna advertise it.
No, I'm saying,
No.
I'm for appointing him, but I'm saying later on down the thing, when, to make sure people don't be like.
I have,
didn't know
no-
this."
I have no problem about appointing, none whatsoever. He's a young man, he's made a huge investment in this community, he's gonna have the time to do it. He took the initiative, he ran. It's not like we're giving anybody a gift here, we're not doing it behind closed doors. If they, if anybody else wants it, they can have the opportunity to run for it.
That's what I'm saying.
So before we do all that, is everybody in agreement with what I'm saying?
Aye.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. You can't appoint anyway until after her resignation, but you can't appoint tonight. Do we vote on that? The appreciation?
Yes,
Yeah.
then done, we're on 16.
Okay, resolution number 15 is to go to bid for a used tractor bucket loader 4x4 for the campsites, bid opening at the March meeting.
Move it.
Second.
Under discussion, Jamie and I had a conversation on this, and that tractor we have was purchased when we built the first wastewater treatment plant in 1985, or 4.
You got your
So
money
we
then.
certainly got our money's worth out of it.
I
And
got-
they do use, it's a piece of equipment that's used extensively on both campgrounds, so, so we're gonna try to go for a used one, see if we can find one for. Jamie's gonna write some specs up.
Okay,
We'll-
yeah.
We'll get 3 proposals and, see what they come in at. All in favor?
Alright.
Opposed, carried. Resolution number 16 to declare, resolution to declare lead agency and determination of type 2 action under seeker for the Port Henry Sewer Water 1-2 CDBG project number 758 PR 168-19.
Move it.
Second.
Discussion. Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Resolution number 17, authorization designating of certifying officer for the CDBG program administration for the Port Henry Sewer, first, second CDBG project 758 PR 168-19. This is the one we were just awarded.
Move it.
At least get the
Second.
steps in place to start the engineering process. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Resolution number 18, authorize a request for proposals to hire an engineer for the Port Henry Sewer Water First and Second CDBG project, number 758 PR 168-19.
Move it.
Second.
Under the HUD requirements, as you know, you can't just go out and hire an engineer, you gotta request proposals from different firms and they submit to us. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Resolution number 19, to declare lead agency for the Town of Moriah Town Hall Accessibility CDBG project, grant number 758 PF 150-19.
Move it.
Second.
Discussion. Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Resolution number 20, resolution to determine negative declaration of type 1 action under seeker for the Town of Moriah Town Hall Accessibility CDBG project number 758 PF 150-19.
Move it.
Second.
Discussion, being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Resolution number 21, you can see what's involved, town board, in these grants. You know what just happened. Resolution authorized designating and certifying officers, CDBG program administration for the town of Moriah Town Hall. Accessibility, CDBG project number 758, PF 150-19.
Move it.
Second.
This project, as you guys know, is the ramp, the grant we were awarded for $298,000 to put a ramp on the town hall. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Resolution number 22, resolution to authorize a request for proposals to hire an architect for the Moriah Town Hall Accessibility CDBG project,
Move it.
758 PF 150-19. Moved by Mr. Salerno, second by Tom. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Resolution number 23, resolution determination of a type 2 auction under seeker for the New York State EFC Master Sewer.
Move it.
Second.
Okay, this is on the big project, the $8 million sewer main replacements in Mineville, Witherby, and Moriah. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Resolution number 24, approval to do transfers in the budget as needed.
Move it.
Second.
Discussion, being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Resolution number 25, payment of the warrants.
Move it.
Second.
Discussion, being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. And you've got your financial reports, and I did a meeting next week with Becky and myself at Glens Falls National Bank to discuss investments. And we're gonna look into mutuals whereby we can put large sums of money into these accounts. If we come up with, he blows an engine in a truck and you need $50,000 or you need $100,000, you don't get penalized if you pull it out, which is a good thing. Like on a CD you do, so we're looking into that right now. Rose, what else did we have?
Do you have to do a resolution for this special
Oh,
meeting?
yeah, special meeting, okay. I don't really need to, I can call a special meeting, but we'll do a public notice on it. Please take notice that I'm calling for a special meeting of the Town of Moriah Town Board to be held on Thursday, February 27, 2020 at 6 p.m. at the Town of Moriah Courthouse located at 42 Park Place, Port Henry, New York, for the purpose of awarding bids for the Tarbell Hill Pump Station and discuss and fill the vacancy on the town board and any other pertinent business that may come before the board.
Move it. Second.
February 27th, right? 6?
Yep, 6 p.m. here, yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Jamie, did you have one?
I do have a resolution. A few months ago, we did the resolution
All of the roads, yeah.
concerning 2 roads that have not been put yet onto the LHI, which is local highway inventory through Department of Transportation in Albany. And so we did the requirements. They just contacted me and they are requesting that we do another resolution to a little more clear, it's a little more clarity. They need,
Roseman's.
there's some more new guidelines.
Yeah, she went through it all with me today, so we don't know what to do, hopefully you do.
Yeah. It wasn't that bad, just
I think he was pretty
a
self-explanatory.
little
in
tweak
his
in
message.
yeah. I mean, ours was just a little too vague, I guess.
So is there any specific language that they're looking for? Or
Yeah, they want us to specifically state in the resolution that the road is open 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Yeah,
That
okay.
the maintenance is being done by the town,
Alright.
you know.
So, someone wanna move that resolution?
Move it.
This is for Dock Lane and, what was the other?
Moriah.
Second.
Discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
I have one.
I got one.
Yeah.
To appoint Julie Anderson to the Moriah Youth Commission.
Move it. Second.
Moved by Matt, second by Polly, discussion. Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, I'm not
I have
even sure what that
discussion.
term is, but Rose will check
I
that
really
out.
wish she wasn't, but
To fill the
it's
vacancy.
gonna drive me nuts. That's my discussion.
Okay.
Okay, hold on a second. Appoint Julie Anderson what?
To the Youth Commission.
The Youth Commission. Thank you.
Go ahead, Matt.
I'd like to make a motion that we purchase 2 new kayaks and a paddleboard to replace the ones down to Champ RV Park that are pretty worn out. like to take that few $100s out of the money we set aside for improvements.
Seriously, they're worn out,
Yeah,
really?
they're some rough shape, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They've been used that much?
I
Well,
think just
once
down to,
Once we said they were free, they were, yeah,
I mean, they got used a lot.
which is good, we want people.
Last
to
year,
No,
but
yeah.
like the bottoms are, got some pretty good gashes in them and stuff. The paddle board's in rough
You
shape.
can get it right at Walmart, right?
Yeah, you're talking, you know.
Is it one of the
$100.
styrofoam paddle boards?
Yeah.
Yeah, they get beaten up easily, yeah.
Do people use them paddle boards a lot?
That didn't get taken out much, but
The canoes, you can't give them away.
the two-person kayak got used quite a bit,
Yeah.
and the other kayak, actually, so.
Paddleboards are starting to be the thing.
Yeah.
Are they,
Yeah, I have one, I use it all the time.
So that's my resolution.
Move it.
Okay.
all in favor?
Aye.
All carried.
I'll get some numbers and whatnot.
Yes, Paul.
I spent about an hour with Jim Cicerone up to the transfer station. I don't know if it has to go through a resolution or how the board feels, but he took me to each one of the recyclables, being the newspapers, the cardboard, the papers, and the cans. And he was wondering if we could get some identity, clear identity of where they go, so he doesn't have to go behind everybody and sort out for a period of time. Do you have, how
I'm
would we go?
familiar with it, I've discussed it with Jimmy, I've discussed it with Jamie, and we're gonna get signage put up. Jamie and I went down the tie and looked at how they've got it set up, so, yeah, we're aware of it.
Yep.
The problem is, you know, because they're changing them containers, so obviously we gotta have some kind of a sign on the container. And somebody had suggested, we can get they put magnets on the back of them. Stick
The
it
thing
right
is,
over
you know,
the.
That'd be great.
that plastic container's not always in the same spot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Next
No,
time,
no,
I'll
no.
be able to cans you
Yeah,
Magnets would be
okay.
great.
So bottom line is, a lot of it is, like the people just, they're throwing stuff and stuff where
And the other thing we.
Right, Dave.
it's tough.
Jamie, we're looking to get the magnetized signs that you can put them right over the top of them sliding doors. You know, what
Forget to
goes
take the
in
magnets
where.
off and then pull them
And
away.
then when they pull it out, you pull them off.
Cat litter and feces doesn't belong in the cardboard.
Right, that's,
Or in the newspaper bin.
and that's where, that's
If you
that's
don't
where the
watch it
part-time
every
guy.
second, It's,
And that's where, and believe me, like on a Saturday morning, or when you have 6 people lined up at the, for garbage, and then you got 4 people at recyclables, is where we come into that extra part-time person will come in handy, in my opinion.
Well,
No? Okay, go
you
ahead.
know, I mean, do we know who's putting this is the first I've heard of cat litter being put
that
in,
just happened.
you know,
Let me tell you something, Cicerone's nipping it in the bud.
here's how you
Oh,
nip it in
okay.
the bud, people wait in line, okay, exactly, you don't just drive in there and start
I agree with you,
freewheeling around.
Tommy, I
That's the
agree with
problem
you,
up there.
yes. And-
So maybe on a Saturday, we need to have a couple councilmen go up there and keep an eye on things and watch it for a while.
That's
I mean,
fine,
could-
that's fine.
Could we funnel
No.
that at the end so people can't, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So the guy just can't come up while you,
So they're gonna shoot up on the right side of
Right.
everybody?
The cardboard container looks excellent. I do think you could put some petitions in there to identify it easier as to where things are going, but I don't know. Then you,
Hey, Dirk.
they bring a machine in to take that stuff out.
And during this next month or 6 weeks, when Jim's getting acclimated and stuff, any Saturday I go up on a morning, I will go up.
It's, you know, give him, things are gonna work out up there.
Oh,
Just
Oh, and
gotta
I
give it
agree,
time.
Tom.
But yes, he's already, when did he talk to you about this?
Yesterday.
I mean, he's already discussed it with us.
Yesterday.
I don't know why he felt he needed to have you bring it up at the meeting, but that's neither here nor there.
He's not, you know, he's running the place really well.
So Jamie, I don't know, does the county make them, somebody in town makes them kind of signs, right?
Well,
Like you have on your van, the magnetized
there
sign.
is signage
Yeah,
there.
you can get that.
You know, and where the newspapers go, there's no newspaper.
No, I'm talking in the containers, he's telling me, where the plastic's going, the cans and that
Number
stuff.
1, number 2,
Yeah,
metal.
you gotta be able to make signs that are movable.
Magnets are perfect. You put it right there on each one of them sections on the containers. You can then change it, you take them off and put it on the new one, so. All right, anything further?
Not from us.
Sharon, anything? Bill?
Not this week.
Okay, we stand adjourned.